Okay, so we are recording, and this video is going to be a little bit different. Welcome to MJ Farmstead. I'm Mike, your host. Today we're going to be talking about 5 Acre Farm and how they have contracted bird flu, how they're going about it, just some of my thoughts. I really do appreciate Luke and Kathrine's honesty and transparency throughout this entire ordeal with everybody, but it's something that I think we could learn from, especially for the fact that, and you'll see, they were given a choice to not call the birds. So I'm going to go ahead and have our screen share get bigger, and we'll start watching this together. And just so you guys know, I'm doing some bits and clips of everything.
So if the guineas and the ducks are dropping like flies, it's something serious. So like I said, we'll know more here. I'll try to film a little bit. We'll try to film a little bit here when the vet guy gets here, take samples, because I want to bring this information to you guys. And
this would be such a hard thing to
take
handle.
you guys along the journey, because we're a chicken channel. We built this whole YouTube channel around birds. And if this wipes us out, we got to have reasons for the next 2 years on why we're doing what we're doing if we continue making YouTube videos. So anyway, I'll keep you updated.
So they have the state vet come in, and they're doing all the sampling, and then I'm just going to give you like little bits and pieces because it's several hours of video. I've watched all of them to keep up to date with everything, but they send them out that day and they get the results that night, that they are positive with highly contagious avian influenza. So we're just watching a little bit of this stuff right here.
Oropharyngeal or tracheal.
Now those are Sebastopol geese, and extremely expensive. If you guys don't know anything about geese. It's just like absolute craziness how you can contract this. Now I will say, I've watched another video, I don't have the clip lined up, but he thinks that it was a lone goose that flew into his duck area, and of course his guineas hop the fence, and then they run all around. They run with the chickens and the ducks and geese and everything. So he thinks that's how they spread around the farm, but he thinks it was a lone goose that came in, landed in their pond, and the ducks and geese contracted the virus. And these birds are already deceased. If you guys do not know this, they're just taking samples. Let's pop on over to our next thing, and he'll explain a little bit about how they chose not to go about doing the cull for all of their birds.
Wondering why there is no video of the process that we just talked about. So the last time you guys saw us, I was standing at the back of the mule full of birds I had shot that morning. So we're going to walk you through.
Now just note that he called the state when they were coming in that morning to cull all the birds, and he asked if he should start doing the cull beforehand, just rounding up the guineas, and he did actually do that. He culled, I think, most or all of his guineas, like 40 or 50 birds.
Through how Friday went. I wish Friday never happened. That was the hardest roller coaster of emotions and frustration that I've had in a single day. I don't know, maybe my whole life. So as you can see behind us, we still have chickens. So you probably have a lot of questions right now, and
As do we.
as do we. And so we're gonna try to address the process and the decision that we made, and kind of explain this deal. So, quick backstory, because I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this video. Friday, you guys have already seen the video where we tested it. We tested 3 guineas and 2 geese. If you know anything about raising guineas and geese, they just don't die. They're hardy birds. They started dying.
Very
So
true.
we had them tested Friday at 10 a.m.
Thursday.
or Thursday at 10 a.m. and
This is about
they
2
drove the
Thursdays ago.
test results straight to Manhattan. They came back positive for bird flu. So the process from a positive test is the KDA, for us, the KDA, the Kansas Department of Agriculture, will come out and condemn every bird on the farm. If it's 5 birds or if it's 50,000 birds, they come in and kill everything. So that was Friday or Thursday night at 6 o'clock. We got that phone call. Friday, they have a lot of paperwork to do on their end, and they have a whole team they have to gather from all over the state to get here, show up, get prepped, and get ready to start the process. So
now some of that paperwork is going to involve grants from the USDA, because the USDA does have a grant program for any birds that are culled during bird flu, where they will make a payout on fair market value, which in this case is not really fair. We'll get to that clip in just a minute, but that's just some of the paperwork that he's talking about.
we scheduled for Friday, the next day. They want to do this as quick as possible, so it doesn't spread to other farms or wild birds or whatever. So we had it scheduled for about noon to 2 o'clock on Friday. At noon, the state vet with the KDA that I was working with on Thursday showed up.
Turns out the government tracks a lot of...
Sorry about that. We got an ad. We don't want to get copyrighted.
Nice guy.
Everybody was great to work with.
Let me start from the beginning. Every single individual with the Kansas Department of Agriculture and the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, have been extremely nice and easy to work with.
Yep.
So I have nothing against the individuals that work for KDA and USDA. At least the people we were in communication with.
Yep.
The problem we had was, and you guys saw us crying. This was a very hard decision, and it wasn't really a decision we thought we had. It was the decision we were told. Was condemning all your birds. And I had mentioned previously that the USDA has a grant that pays for every bird that is condemned because of bird flu positive. Sick or not, they got to kill them. So with that being said, the individual from the KDA pulled up, brief conversation with them. We have to sign paperwork on our end before they can come in and condemn anything.
That's a good thing.
And on that paperwork is where the price per bird was written. And I previously had a conversation with this gentleman, and in the literature that I read, it said fair market value. So I was under the impression that certain breeds were different than other breeds. A Indio Agante hen is not worth the same as a 6-year-old non-laying Australorp. Obviously, that chicken is worth, let's just say, $5. The Indio Agante hen is worth $100 to $150. If you go to an auction right now and look for I am Samani hens, Indio Agante hens, Polish hens, Lavender Americana hens, anything really that we have. French black copper Moran hens, blue partridge Brahma hens. All those hens are worth more than $40, $50, $60.
So basically, what happened is the USDA came in and it's like a price per chicken, price per duck, price per goose, price per guinea, price per chick, price per quail. Doesn't necessarily account for breeds, which is like super, super terrible, and the government should probably do better on that end. Also, I'm going to go over the fact that the USDA, being that he had over 500 birds, classified him as a commercial chicken operation. Most commercial chicken operations that are modern have between 25 and 30,000 birds and more, and that's per chicken house. A 60-foot by 600-foot building, which is huge. You guys don't know, that's massive. That's a lot of space. It's about 2 acres approximately. Let's see. Let me do the math real quick for you. It's about an acre, a little less than an acre. But that's 1 acre worth of housing that is for chickens. They classified them as a commercial operation, which I get it. They have a lot of birds, but technically anyone that's making money on birds technically is commercial, but also they're more of a backyard breeder setup. They make a living with these birds, which is awesome. And I think that they sort of got the shit end of the stick, let's just say, being that the USDA classified them and paid them out less amount, or wanted to pay them out less of amount. So let's go over to our next little clip on how many birds they actually wound up losing.
A total of 285 hens and 54 roosters. So, well, and that's including the ducks and the geese in those numbers. So that's over 300 is what we've lost so far. We haven't lost thousands.
We had roughly, well, I guess I don't have that number wrote anywhere. We had roughly
I think almost 800,
800, yeah,
on the birds on the farm. That's including all the quail that we have in the brooder room.
So around 800 birds, they said, which is a lot of birds. Still wouldn't be 25 to 30,000 like a commercial operation has. And if you look behind them, you see those breeder pens there. Not sure if you'll be seeing my mouse on the screen. This is the first time I'm using this application to create something, but you see those breeder pens behind them. They had free range chickens in the area that they're standing, and they basically had access. Some of the sick birds did go over by those pens, and a couple of those pens contracted and perished from the avian influenza. Then it went into one pen. They haven't mentioned how they stopped it from spreading, but 2 chickens in that one pen did die. And then the other ones did not. So we'll watch a little bit more of this one right here.
We've lost more chickens than we have alive. But it is what it is. So now to talk about these breeder pens real quick. In one of the first videos, when we still had chickens, a lot of these sick chickens were sleeping right up against the metal here because it was the warmest part during the day. And when they get sick, they just need to absorb heat, and it was cold out. So we were shocked that none of the Polish, we still have all the Polish. And then next to the Polish are the blue partridge Brahmas over here. We still have all the blue partridge Brahmas. And then the 4th pen was our Millie and Sarama pen. Now, after all the chickens were dead out here, those started getting sick and dying. And once it got into Millies and Saramas, if you know anything about them, they're small.
tiny.
And within a matter of about 4 or 5 days, we lost all of those Millies and Saramas. So 15 Millies and 10 Saramas, plus all the roosters that were in there with them.
Guys, so 285 hens and 54 roosters. They're already in the losses in the 300s. Now, they're not necessarily guaranteed that the rest of the birds won't somehow pick it up, because it does stay in the soil for a few days, like I think up to 14 days, depending on the temperatures and all that good stuff. Metal surfaces, it breaks down a little bit faster and the virus dies off. But let's go and see what the state was actually offering them for all these birds. Now, they would have came in and culled all 800 of their birds, and only paid them out a little bit of money. Let's go share that tab now.
We're a business. We talk about numbers all the time. We don't like to hide numbers from you guys because a lot of you guys enjoy that aspect of seeing how a chicken farm business operates. And a lot of you guys want to see the numbers side of things. So when the state came, they gave us a number of $6,000. At the time, the numbers that if we would have sold everything out there on the farm, or everything on the farm period, if we would have just called it quits and sold every bird for fair market value.
Now, I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know the math. $6,000 on 800 birds comes out to an average of $7.50 per bird. All right. Just wanted to let you know that. Let's continue on.
Either the prices that we have on our price sheet or what we paid for something was roughly $18,000 to $20,000 in bird values.
Now that right there, that's a big number difference, right? So if they were expecting 3 times the amount of what they should have gotten or what they didn't get, because the state offered them 6, they know that they were valued at 18. That's a big gap to finish and fill up, right? This is where I do disagree with their decision to not have the state cull, because now here's the thing. The state will only pay you if they are the ones that cull the birds. They do not pay you for the birds you lost unless they're the ones that cull them, and they have to cull everything, the entirety of the flock. Every animal or every bird on your farm, they have to do it for you to get that payout. They're already down 330 something birds, 340 birds that they're not getting paid out at anything. So out of the 800 birds, they're down by a third of them, let's call it, and they're getting $0. I understand that they are trying to keep what they have, but they will go over and talk about herd immunity in another video. And you guys can go over and watch them. I'll have their channel tagged below. It's 5 Acre Farm. It's just, in my opinion, if you're going to lose birds, you know you're going to lose birds, have the state come in and condemn them. Unfortunately, and unfortunate as that is, it's just, it makes more sense economically if you were to lose or have a chance to lose 100% of your flock and get $0, or lose 100% of your flock, at least get $6,000 back. That, I mean, it's a hard decision, and anyone living it in the moment is going to have to deal with that. But I'm a smaller operation, so I would say obviously come in, at least get something so I could sort of get back to where I was, especially if I buy chicks and raise them up. You have a 120-day quarantine anyhow, so you're only going to be about 60 days behind before those birds start laying eggs, because normally it takes like 4 to 6 months depending on the breeds. So you'd only have like a 60-day, actually you'd still be 9 months, 10 months behind, because you can't get a bird on the farm for 120 days. That was the rule for the quarantine. So I do understand he didn't want to take that check, wait 120 days, get the birds, wait 6 months, because that would push him into 2027 for sales. But in my opinion, having $0 at the end of the day and losing a lot of your birds, or having $6,000 and losing a lot of your birds, I don't know, at least you have $6,000 in your pocket walking away. Let's just watch a little bit more.
And they were going to give us 6. So was that the right call? Obviously, we didn't want to kill any of our birds. If they would have been close to that $18,000 to $20,000, if the USDA was, then would have been a different story. We could easily rebuild with $20,000, being able to buy all the chicks we want, to start new breeds from different lineage. We could have really used that money wisely to invest into this farm and make it something bigger and better, maybe even faster than if we would have kept as we did. the birds we have. You know, if we have, let's just say we have 20 Polish chickens, if we would have lost all 20 Polish chickens, we could have bought, let's just say 60 chicks or 100 chicks and kept back 60 Polish from those 100 or whatever the case may be. I mean, in 1 year time. Now, granted, we still have all of our Polish, but if we're...
Now, I'm going to also point out with $6,000, let's say you average $10 per bird, you could still get back, right, if you're buying them as chicks, you could still get back 600 of that 800 birds. Now, you're not going to average $10 a bird because he can go to the auctions, he can bring home better prices on birds. He can also go to hatcheries, right? Because and also not all of the birds were chickens. Some of them were ducks, some of them were quail. A lot of them were quail. I think he has about 100 something quail or more. So quail at the auction you can get anywhere from $1 to $3 per bird. So you probably could have gotten to the same number of birds that he has on farm, right? Especially if you figure the average was $10 a bird if he was getting chicks. And some of the hatcheries you're going to get better than $10 birds. Some chicks you will pay a premium because they're just rare breeds. They don't breed them as much. Just let that be known.
Like our millies, we lost all of those. So in Serramos, so now we get to outsource those. We don't get paid for any of these birds that we've lost now because we didn't sign the papers. So,
but we couldn't have done it with 6,000.
No, we couldn't have bought. We couldn't have bought chicks.
No. That's where I think that they could have. They maybe not fully, but they would have been able to at least get enough blood back to where they could have restarted. And it might have just taken a couple extra months to build back up those numbers.
Everything we have for 6,000, so just kind of slap to the face.
Definitely a slap to the face, but sometimes things hurt.
Pissed off at the USDA, not doing me any good. Hopefully that literature gets changed for people like us that are over 500 birds that aren't commercial. A couple of you guys commented that said, if you make money off your chickens, then you're commercial. Like, no matter how many chickens you have, you're commercial if you make money. How many of you guys watching have sold a dozen eggs? You have 5 chickens. You only eat 5 eggs a week or 10 eggs a week, and you sell a dozen every other week. Does that make you commercial? A ton of you guys watching have 10 or 15 chickens and sell a dozen, 2 dozen eggs to your coworkers or your friends or your family.
Or even hatch chicks just for fun.
That doesn't make you commercial.
It makes you a farm.
According to some of you guys, that does. Anyway, I could go on and on about some of the comments I'm getting on these videos, and you guys would lose brain cells. Most of you guys are awesome in the comment section, and we love you guys for that. But some of you guys are... Anyway, thanks for the comment. It helps the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's true. It definitely helps the algorithm. All right, let's just check this out real quick here.
We lost almost all of our birds in 72 hours.
Yeah.
So this wasn't something where we could be like, oh, let's order this thing or whatever, put in their water and solve it. Like,
now remember, guys, there is no cure to bird flu. Supposedly they have vaccines, and he goes over it in this video. But just like the flu vaccine every year, right? Some people get it, and some people still get the flu. And he does go over to talk about the immunity and herd immunity. Very true. If you get the flu once, can you get it again? Absolutely. And it all depends on how bad the strain is.
You know, we tried Corrid, we tried FedRx, we tried TiaGuard.
They did their due
tried
diligence
a little
to
bit
try.
of everything that we had on hand, and nothing worked. And so by the time we could have ordered something, the damage was already done. We live out here in the country.
It takes days to get stuff.
For us to drive to a city to try to find something, just in those 4 hours for us to get back, we would lose 50 chickens or 40 chickens. So it's not like there's a magic fix-all.
That's crazy.
And plus, according to all the research, there's nothing that kills bird flu. So there's nothing you can put in the water to solve this. A lot of you guys said, colloidal silver, or however it's pronounced. So I ordered some of that because I was going to use that on the olive acres, but then the olive acres stopped dying, so I haven't got to use it yet. But I would go to believe that that would not solve the problem. A lot of you guys want to say anything that kills a virus is going to kill the bird flu, and this is a different animal. Bird flu is real.
Completely different.
We've dealt with dead chickens ever since we've been in the bird industry. That's just, it's part of owning poultry.
Yeah.
You're going to lose chickens or birds. It's when you lose 400 birds in 72 hours. That's when you know what you're dealing with is not what,
Not just a respiratory.
not just something that comes and goes, or between one chicken or two. So anyway,
All right, guys. I think that's really all I'm going to show you guys today. But my thought on this is so the USDA forces but doesn't force you to cull the birds, right? In my head, does not make sense. Call me a conspiracy realist, well, not theorists, because it's based on facts and different things that we see. But the hatcheries and all these broiler houses and laying houses that contract bird flu, indoors, mind you, okay? So that would mean some biosecurity measures didn't hold true, and somebody brought it in from the outside. They call all these birds, and now you can bring up pricing on eggs and meat because there's a scarcity on it, and the supply and demand is real. But for the fact that they gave him the option to not cull, I'm not saying it's not real. Bird flu is definitely real, obviously. But the fact that they are careless about letting it spread just makes me think that it doesn't spread as easily as we think. And it's all about price manipulation. So I just wanted to make this video, show you guys a little bit of this. Go over to Luke and Kathrine's page and show them some love. 5 Acre Farm on YouTube. I'll drop a link below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And it's something that we should definitely be aware of. We should be reliant upon ourselves for some food production. Whether you got a balcony, you could grow a couple heads of lettuce, or you could have some quail out on a balcony. You don't need a lot of room. I've seen people growing chickens and quail in backyard, in the inner city, in low rises, and they have a property that's probably 35 feet, 40 foot wide by like 50 or 60 foot deep. So you can grow food almost anywhere. It just depends on how eager you are to do it. And yeah, so bird flu is real. Price manipulation is also real. I feel so bad for 5 Acre Farm. They've lost a lot, and I hope it's ending here. So I'm still following up on all of their new videos that come out. I'm seeing what's going on with it. I hope they've stopped the spread, and they can move forward from here. You know, they can't get a new bird on farm until I think May, they were saying. So they have a February, March, April, May, or end of May, whatever it is, 120 days. And I think they were a week or so behind on when they actually posted that they had bird flu. But that's tough. They can hatch their own birds, which means that'll put them ahead of the game. They just can't bring new birds onto the farm. So wherever you all are in the world, guys, I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening. Try to take some self-reliance on your food and know where your food comes from. Support your local farmers, guys. We love you. Tell your family you love them. We'll catch you all on the next one, guys. Take it easy.